So let's look into RACI Matrix. So the RACI Matrix will have all the tasks of the project listed in there, and it will kind of give information on who's responsible, who's accountable, who's consulted, and who's informed, right? So I'm going to show you the RACI Matrix in this video. It's going to be like a real-time project RACI Matrix. I've kind of designed it exactly how it will look like in a real-time project. So we will be looking into that RACI Matrix in this video. But before that, let's understand what's responsible, what's accountable, what's consulted, and what's informed. Let's understand that, and then we will look into the RACI Matrix. So responsible is somebody, let's say if there is a task, for a specific task, there will be only one person who's responsible to do that task. If that task is not done, I'll point to that one person. Example, requirements gathering, it's going to be the business analyst. A specific enhancement development work it's going to be one specific developer. So for a task, there will be at least one person who's responsible for that. And it and it cannot be more than one person. I would not say at least, it cannot be more than one person. There should be one person responsible for that task. And if that task is done completely, credits goes to that one person. If it's not done complete, if it's not completed on time, the finger gets pointed to on that person's direction. So that's responsible. Who is owning a particular task? Example, requirements gathering for a specific enhancement. Say, line of credit sales page. So there's going to be one business analyst who's going to be responsible for gathering requirements for line of credit sales page. Say that's Sushrut, that's me, right? So if I gather requirements on time, I get the credits. If I don't gather requirements on time, I get blamed. I'm the only person who's responsible for that task. Accountable is the person who's accountable for the correct and thorough completion of task. This is often project executive or project sponsor. This is the role that responsible is accountable to. So again, right, responsible and accountable, you can use it interchangeably to a certain extent. All management related activities will come under accountable. All independent contributor related activities will come under responsible. Requirements gathering of that a business analyst needs to do, that is responsible. Development work that a developer should do, that becomes responsible because a developer is an independent contributor, IC. A testing that a tester needs to do for a specific enhancement, that is somebody that is responsible, right? They come under responsible because developers, testers, BAs, business analysts, we are all independent contributors, IC. So we go under responsible. When it comes to accountable, thorough completion of project on time, that is accountable. A project manager is accountable for completion of project on time within budget, which has a reasonable quality. That is accountable management task. A tech lead is accountable for all the development activities of that project getting completed on time. All the development activities, meaning all the development activities that the 5 or 6 developers are doing. All that getting completed on time. Who's responsible? Tech lead is accountable for that, not responsible, accountable for that. So any management related activity will come under accountable. Any independent contributor related activity will be responsible. And again, we can use those two terms interchangeably as well, responsible and accountable. Next is consultant, the people who provide information for the project and with whom there is two-way communication. This is usually several people, often subject matter experts. Consultant. For requirements gathering, you have to consult subject matter experts from the business team. So they become consultant. If it's going to be the same example that we took, line of credit, financial product, sales page. Who's going to be consulted? The sales team from intelligence bank. You need to consult with them when you gather requirements for line of credit sales page. As a business analyst, you have to go talk to the business, talk to the sales team, and only then gather requirements. So that sales team will become consultant, right? Next is informed. People kept informed of progress and with whom there is one way communication. These are people that are affected by the outcome of the tasks, so need to be kept up to date. You have to inform your project sponsor about the progress that's being made. All the director level staff, all the executive level staff, the project sponsors, they are all informed. So every month or bi-weekly, you have to send status reports and inform them about the status of the project. If there is any challenges, dependencies, risks, issues, they need to be informed about it, right? So that is informed. So now we know what is responsible, what is accountable, what is consulted, what is informed. What do these words mean in the context of an IT project? We know this. Now let's go into the actual RACI matrix that I have drafted for you. So here it is. When it comes to, so I have listed a set of activities and I'll go over each and every um, uh, job role, and I'll let you know whether they are accountable or informed or consulted or responsible, right? When it comes to project charter approval, the executive sponsor is accountable. So they have to make sure that the project charter is approved, they are approving it, um, because they are leadership folks. I told you, right? They are leadership folks, they are on top. So they have to make sure that the charter is approved. Next is Chief Information Officer. They are accountable for the project charter approval. We know what a project charter is. We know all that. So next is responsible. Next is IT project manager. They are responsible for the project charter because they are the ones who are drafting it, right? You can again here, if you want, you can use accountable also, because IT project managers, the IT project manager is hands-on typing down the project charter. I think that's why I'm calling it out as responsible, because they are literally hands-on typing up the project charter. So I'm calling it responsible. But again, you can also use accountable here. Like I said, to a certain extent, you can use these terminologies interchangeably. And business analyst is consulted when the when the project manager drafts the project charter. If he or she has any questions, they'll consult with the business analyst and see what they have to say. Um, so say for example, if the IT project manager wants to know what should be in scope, so mostly they will get that information from the business and other high level stakeholders. They might, I'm using the word might, also have a conversation with the business analyst to figure out, in terms of the same line of credit project example, right? We are enhancing the line of credit financial product, or let's say we are enhancing a sales page in the application, we are enhancing a sales page. Now, when it comes to figuring out the in scope items, the project manager might talk to the business analyst to figure out what needs to be in scope, because the IT business analyst is a subject matter expert when it comes to that current sales page that needs to be enhanced through this project. That current sales page that will be enhanced through this project. So that current sales page knowledge business analyst will have. So the IT project manager might talk to the business analyst to learn about the sales page that we might have to enhance or expand and add new features. In order to figure out what the sales page has currently, the IT project manager will get all that information from business analyst. Hey, how does the sales page work today? What abilities that the sales page have today? What features does it have today? And as IT business analyst, they have to give some inputs to the project manager so that the project manager can figure out the in-scope items. And even in terms of risks, the business analyst can convey some risk related inputs as well. So currently the data in the sales page is not very clean. That might be a risk if we are running reports using that data. So these kinds of inputs, the business analyst can give the IT project manager. We might need to cleanse it, or it's a risk. The data is not clean. You need to be aware of that, because as a part of this project, we are building a lot of reports that will use these data that we have on file currently. So keep that as a risk and let everybody know and put that into the project charter for visibility. These kinds of inputs a business analyst will give. So that is the reason why for project charter, business and for the project charter and project charter approval, business analyst is consulted. Okay, solution architect is consulted, developers will be informed. Like I said, developers and testers, their main activity is executing. Hence, they are only informed. You just inform them that, hey, you know what, this is what is going on. We are coming up with this new project. You are going to work on it. That's about it. They'll not ask them for any inputs. And legal and complaints, they'll consult them. Example, is there any regulatory issue when if we build these features on a sales page? Features that will show gender demography, features that shows a customer's credit profile on the front end, and that can be exposed to people who are working all over the globe. Is that within compliance, or should we redact some info when it comes to the credit profile, which has a lot of confidential information? So now the legal will advise, right? Based on that, again, the in scope items might be modified based on the advice that we get from legal. You see what I'm saying, right? Don't include credit profile. You should not be displaying it. If people outside, if uh, if it's a multinational organization and people from multiple countries are using the sales page, then you should not be displaying all the customer credit information, because it's confidential, or some fields needs to be redacted. So based on the inputs that we get from consulting from legal, the in-scope items will be modified. We might add some more points, or we might take some points out of in-scope items. So that's how they are consulted. And business stakeholders are informed, hey, the project charter is approved. And again, right, even here, the business stakeholders are also consulted, I would say. Because again, when it comes to figuring out the in-scope items, you have to consult with the business stakeholders. Can we add all these as in-scope items? Did we miss something? Should we take something out? So that consultation will happen. So they are consulted, right? So this is for the project charter and project charter approval both, right? So next is something that's related to the BA, right? Next is requirements. So when it comes to requirements, of course, ex-sponsor is informed, Chief Information Officer is informed. Maybe during the status call, we will say that requirements gathering is in progress, right? Um, and when it comes to the business analyst, they are responsible for gathering requirements, right? Whoever is the business analyst, they will be responsible for gathering requirements. So it's at the end of the day, if the requirements are not complete on time, it's your responsibility. You will be blamed for it. If you complete the requirements on time and deliver value, you will get credits. You are owning requirements gathering as the business analyst. So the business analyst is responsible for this, right? Of course, solution architect is consulted, meaning if so these requirements, do we have the tech stack? Do we have the technology stack to build all these requirements in our application? Yes or no? These kinds of questions a solution architect will answer. Hence, they are consulted when we are gathering requirements. If the business is giving a requirement, and for example, the business is giving a requirement which is uh, we should be able to um, pull up the credit score from a external website, say Social Security Administration website, from an external website, from Social Security Administration database. We should be able to, from that Social Security Administration database, we should be able to pull up the credit score of a customer or of a potential customer. And we need to be able to see it in intelligence bank's user interface, right? Is it possible or is it not possible? Pulling credit score from external database, which is Social Security Administration database, and pulling the credit score of a specific customer or a potential customer and displaying it in the front end of the intelligence bank intranet site that internal users use. Is that possible or not? Because that is the requirement. So you will have that conversation with the solution architect. The solution architect will say yes or no, or I'll check and I'll get back to you. So that consultation will happen. That's why solution architect is consulted. Of course, developers are informed, testers are informed about requirements gathering. They are not consulted. Legal is consulted again. Same example, right, that we took previously for project charter approval. Is it within compliance to pull up the credit score of a customer or a potential customer from an external database, Social Security Administration database, and then display the credit score in our user interface in Intelligence Bank's user interface? Can I display that credit score? Is that within compliance? Is there anything that's blocking it law wise, policy wise? That consultation should happen with legal. Sometimes the legal will be a part of the business team. So when you are talking to the business only, legal will also be there. So right there, they will say you might not have to talk to legal separately and talk to business separately. Legal will come under the umbrella of business, right? So, but anyways, you are consulting legal. So that's why legal is consulted, and these kinds of questions will also apply to business stakeholders, right? At the end of the day, you gather requirements from business stakeholders. Any requirement that you gather comes from the business. So they should be consulted when it comes to requirements. So they are marked as consulted. So this is how requirements gathering happens. So this is the RACI matrix for the requirements gathering, and it covers all the staff, all the teams that are involved in a product in a project, right? So it kind of encompasses all the teams or all the different designations of staff who are involved in a project. So this is how RACI matrix works. And if you see, I've attached this in the platform, so do download this and look into this. And that way you'll get an idea of how RACI matrix works, right? And if you have any questions, feel free to post it. and I'll respond as soon as possible. So thank you. You have a nice day. We'll see you in the next session.